It is an advanced harmony technique that you can use to create way more interesting and unorthodox harmonies in your tracks. This technique is called counterpoint. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe so you don't miss future videos, and let's dive straight into it. Okay, here I am in Ableton. This is my track with TJ Lawson, Facula, which was released on my label, and I've just like muted some of the sounds. It sounds like this. The concept of counterpoint is, rather than using conventional chords to create harmony, you use individual melodic lines, which their summation creates harmony and chords, but in an interesting way. Here, with this pad, we have conventional harmony, which is just playing like chords. They're nice chords, don't get me wrong, but like this is a very orthodox, conventional approach to creating harmony. The unorthodox thing would be to create individual melodic lines, and their summation creates harmony. Now, for those that aren't aware of counterpoint, it's not really used that much as it should in modern music, but there are examples where it has been done. But originally it was first used in the Baroque era. The absolute master of this is Bach, the classical composer. And if you listen to the way he composes, there'll be melodies, which then there'll be one melodic line that comes in, and then a second melodic line comes in, creating a harmony, then a third melodic line comes in, creating multiple harmonies, and he's the absolute master of it. But in conventional music, it is used in actually quite popular songs. Let me show you how it's done. So there are a few rules of counterpoint. What I'm going to do is just bring up Serum, and let's just find a pluck sound or something. And what we'll do is we'll have the first voice. So you have multiple voices. The first voice is going to play probably just the chord progression that the bass is playing. So this track here, this sound will probably do. This track is in B flat Phrygian. So I'm going to call this low voice. And I'm just going to take a simplified version of what the long bass is playing. So now we have this, and then what I'm going to do is right click and chop notes on grid. So now we have rolling notes. Right? So that's just playing what the bass is. This is the chord progression of the track, right? So this is going to be the low voice. Now, what I'm going to do is duplicate this, and I'm going to have a mid voice. Now, the rules of counterpoint are that you basically think of them as melodies, not their summation of chords. So the first voice is going to be like the bass voice that's going to play the chord progression. But this mid voice, I am going to pitch it up somewhere and maybe have it focused around a different part. So the low voice is playing on the root note. Let's pitch this up an octave and focus it around maybe the third degree of the scale. So we'd have maybe starting there. And there are a couple of rules, or I guess guidelines of counterpoint. One of them is contrary motion. So if a sound goes down, if one voice goes down, it sounds good if the other voice goes up or stays the same, and vice versa. So they move in different directions, contrary motion. Now, you can also stay on the same note. So one can go down and one stays the same, or one goes up, one stays the same. But it's nice if they move in opposite directions, so they diverge apart and then come closer together. An example of this that's just done really well is actually the song In the Club by 50 Cent. If you listen to the orchestral hits and the bass hits, they're moving in opposite directions, and that's a legendary song. Also, Clean Bandit, the song Rather Be, they have contrary motion taking place on the like orchestral parts. They're also using counterpoint theory, right? So people do it. Take a look directly at the MIDI here. Here, we're thinking more so melodically. So we could like the first note here, the second note here goes down. So let's go up. And you don't also have to play rolling notes. You could create something a little bit more melodic. But for now, let's just keep the same pattern. So it goes down, down. So let's go up, up. So we're going to have this. And then this goes out. This one goes up. So we can go down. That's quite a cool, like, unorthodox chord you create on their summation. And then this one goes down, so let's go up here. And then the low voice goes up, so let's go down. There it goes. You're gonna have this. Or maybe we go down a bit further. Maybe we go back down here. Then this one goes down. We could like repeat the same pattern to a certain degree. We do the opposite, so it's a slight variation. That's pretty cool. That's very cool. Now, let's create a high voice. So I'm going to call this high voice. And let's focus this around a different degree of the scale. So this one was focused around the third. This one, the low voice is around the root note. So maybe we do it on the fifth, and we can go up an octave maybe here. So you're going to have this. And yes, you can't have them all following the same contrary motion, but you can have one doing something a bit more simple. Maybe we just do something like this. Just have that. That's pretty straightforward. And let's just loop that as a 4-bar loop. That's pretty cool. And then we can have, this is quite advanced if you go 4 voices, but let's go higher voice. And then we could have something maybe here. Could play something a little bit more melodic. Or maybe even more tense. Oh, I quite like that down there. They're like... That's pretty cool. And then if we were to duplicate this top voice here, we could create a little variation. Something like this. Unorthodox as that sound. Now the beauty of doing this as well is you can actually mix these independently, so we can have our low voice here and then this one, let's tuck that in a bit behind, and this one a bit, turn that down a bit, this one, sounds pretty good. And what I would probably do is just add like a glue compressor on them. Like so. Let's just do a little bit of EQ as well, just to remove some of the noise and lows. Maybe drop a bit of echo on as well. Filter out the lows. Ping pong. Pretty nice. Let's add some reverb on as well. Now listen in context of everything here. So you can come up with quite unusual harmonic possibilities that you might not normally think of to do if you were just thinking it from a chord perspective. The key takeaway here is compose them as individual voices and put them around a different tonal center within the scale, pitch them up an octave or down an octave, whatever, and just have different voices that are playing independently of each other, and their summation creates harmony. And if you can, do contrary motion. So actually, do have some contrary motion action going on between all of the parts, which is quite nice. So as they're moving in different directions, it sounds like pretty pleasing to the ear. But yeah, like just listening to the sounds here. Pretty cool, right? You can use this concept on like rolling ARPS or pads, or even like on the piano as well when you're composing chords. A really, really unique and interesting way to come up with more interesting harmonic possibilities. I would recommend going and listening to some of the masters at work doing it. So of course, Little Fugue in G minor by Johann Sebastian Bach is like, firstly, it's an absolute banger. A classical banger, but it's like a really good example of counterpoint harmony, and yeah, it's very different to electronic music, but like you can kind of see what's happening there and then mimic that in your own productions to create something unique and interesting, because not many people do this, and if you just do what everyone else does, you're just going to sound like everybody else and you're not going to stand out. So do something different. And if you want to learn how to do more things differently that 99% of producers aren't doing and therefore aren't succeeding, then consider taking a look at our professional house and techno producer program. There's a link in the description below. There's a full video there which explains exactly what it's about and who it's for and how it all works. But in short, if you want to finish a track a week that's ready to send to top labels, if you want to grow a fan base of real people who actually care about your music, grow an audience and start monetizing it and eventually doing music full-time. We have many people that have done this through full-time DJing, ghost production, services, education, all sorts of stuff like that. Then check that video out. If everything sounds good, book a call with me or Tim and we can have a chat about making it happen. But only do this if you're serious, because like it is a tailored coaching program specifically to your needs, and it does come at a cost. So don't waste your time or our time if you aren't willing to invest in yourself. Check it out. Check out all the testimonials we've got. And if it's for you, great. If not, subscribe, like the video, and comment what you found the most interesting out of today. And if you wanted me to cover a topic on future videos, drop it in the comments. I read them all. And I'm here to serve you guys, your loyal servant. So yeah, see you in the next video. Happy counterpoint writing and have fun. Catch you later. See you soon. Goodbye.